Hello. Now that you have completed your housing accommodations intake, we are going to be reviewing some resources and tasks relative to our case management system. Thank you for meeting with the NMSU Disability Access Services for the Las Cruces and Global campuses to complete your intake. In this presentation, you will understand the resources that are available to you, your rights and responsibilities as a DAS student, further information regarding the housing accommodation process, and how to request additional accommodations if you encounter new or ongoing barriers regarding housing or are interested in academic accommodations. We are going to start with the campus resources. We will share a list of resources and departments located at the NMSU Las Cruces campus that we hope you find useful during your time here. Please get in touch with the office directly if you have any questions about the services they provide. You will receive an email welcoming you to NMSU's Disability Access Services for the Las Cruces and Global campus. Please note, emails coming from nmsu.das@accessiblelearning.com are valid and not spam. The email reviews how to access your AIM portal. It lets you know you will receive more specifics on your accommodations soon, and some interactive campus resources. On the left of the screen, the email is shown. The title of the email is DAS NMSU LC Introduction to DAS and Resources Housing. Here are some campus resources. The ICT computer labs. They can help you find the most up-to-date information on where you can go to access a computer lab while on campus. They can also assist with any technology issues related to your My NMSU account. The Campus Tutoring Services offers undergraduate students free, accessible, and convenient tutoring options for most in-demand courses on campus via both individual and small group tutoring. They also have an online tutoring partnership with BrainFuse for after-hours tutoring. The Writing Center offers free one-on-one tutoring in writing for all NMSU students and faculty, from undergraduate to PhD. The Center for Academic Advising and Student Support helps undergraduate students define, plan, and achieve their educational career and individual goals. The Athletics Academic Support Programs and Services Center are committed to providing quality educational services that achieve academic, personal, and career success for all student athletes. Their office offers a full range of support and referral services to assist student athletes in their holistic growth and development. The Student Success Center offers a variety of programs and services, including experiential learning, financial education and wellness, learning and study scope workshops, and graduate school preparation. They have in-person, online workshops, and also on-demand workshops to watch at your own convenience. Education Abroad has programs that may include taking courses abroad, interning abroad, foreign language study, or conducting research at a foreign institution. Students can choose opportunities that vary in duration, field of study, and location. TRIO Student Support Services provides opportunities for academic development, assists students with basic college requirements, and serves to motivate students toward the successful completion of their post-secondary education. TRIO STEM-H maintains equality and dedication to fostering the success of all participants with motivation, skill development, support, and mentorship throughout the time of their undergraduate career. So overall, TRIO helps with tutoring, mentorship, advising, and scholarship. As a student of DAS, you would automatically qualify for TRIO. You would apply with the TRIO office, and they would assign you to the program that is the best fit for you. Student Assistance Services understands that sometimes financial hardships, stress and anxiety, food insecurities, housing challenges, or any unexpected academic issues can create a barrier to your academic success. Connect with SAS to discover resources available to you to assist in the continuation of your education. They also host the Aggie Cupboard, which provides free supplementary food assistance to the NMSU community. You can set up an order to pick up food from the Aggie Cupboard at your own convenience, or they also host monthly food distributions. The Aggie Health and Wellness Center is our on-campus clinic that provides integrated, comprehensive medical and psychological services to the students of New Mexico State University. They also have Timely Care, which is free 24/7 access to virtual care services. They offer mental health help anytime, anywhere, and well-being tips from qualified professionals. You at nmsu.edu helps find tips and tools for everything from your mental and physical health to friendships and finding balance. The Office of Land Grant Inclusive Mission houses American Indian programs, Black programs, Chicano programs, LGBTQ+ programs, and military and veterans programs. As a reminder, the campus resources will all be available on your welcome letter with interactive links so you can check out those offices. Now we will be reviewing how to access your AIM portal. AIM is our Accessible Information Management System, which you will use for tasks relative to your accommodations. How to access your AIM portal. DAS will create a profile for you in our online case management system, AIM, which you can log into within 24 hours after your intake. AIM is the system that you will use to send your accommodation notices to your instructors every semester and to schedule your exams. After going to our website, das.nmsu.edu, you will be able to log into your AIM portal with your NMSU credentials under DAS Student Login. There is a screenshot that shows our homepage and the highlighted section, Student and Faculty AIM Portals, which shows students to click DAS Student Login to access their portal. We will now go over the student rights and responsibilities. This section reviews your rights and responsibilities as a student of DAS and the responsibilities of the DAS office to ensure a collaborative partnership. After logging into the AIM portal, you will see a pop-up in regards to your student rights and responsibilities. Your signature on this e-form agreement indicates that you understand the rights, responsibilities, and limitations of our partnership. There is a screenshot on this page showing the pop-up of required e-form agreement when you log into your AIM portal. As a student in the NMSU Accessibility Services programs, you have the right to be treated with dignity and respect. You have the right to confidentiality and privacy. Your personal information, including information about your disability, will only be shared with your written consent. Confidentiality is maintained unless there is a concern about your safety, the safety of others, or potential harm to the campus or community, in which case information may need to be shared with the appropriate offices to ensure appropriate support and response. The only information that would be shared with your professors is the accommodations that you would be receiving. You also have the right to review your file and to request copies of documents in your file that are generated by the university. Accessibility Services student, you can expect equitable access. In higher education, this is the practice of ensuring all individuals have fair and impartial opportunities to enter college, fully participate in campus life, and succeed in their academic and career goals. It requires intentionally removing systemic barriers and providing targeted support to level the playing field. This is done by providing students with appropriate accommodations and support to help them thrive. Under the ADA, access is equitable, ensuring individuals receive what they need to have the same meaningful opportunities as others. Your rights as an NMSU Accessibility Service student. You have the right to due process. If you feel that you have been a victim of discrimination, you may file a formal grievance with the university. Please refer to the grievance procedures and guidelines on how to do so. You have the right to reasonable accommodations as evidenced by your documentation, including adaptive technologies and equipment. You also have the right to discontinue services and reinstate the services as you wish. Students, DAS services cannot be provided without your cooperation. Thus, it is your responsibility to treat others, fellow students, faculty, and staff with dignity and respect. Self-identify. It is your responsibility to let us know you have a specialized need or disability that may require an accommodation so that we can work with you. It's also your responsibility to self-advocate. You know your strengths and needs better than anyone else. It is your responsibility to share this information with your accessibility office so that we know how to meet your academic or housing needs. What DAS students need to do? Request accommodations. Provide us with information about your disability, how it will affect you while you attend college, and identify accommodations that you may need. Provide us with documentation. Through our AIMS system, you will submit an application for accommodations and upload a disability verification form that will be completed by your medical professional. Or you can upload documentation from your medical professional that verifies your disability and needs. The documentation must be current, and supplemental documentation may be required to make a determination for appropriate accommodations. You must request accommodations through the AIMS system for each new semester and send your accommodation letters to your course instructors on the first day of class, as accommodations are not retroactive. Credit hour adjustment form student expectations. If requesting to take less credit hours, you must submit the credit hour adjustment form before the census day each semester. The credit hour adjustment form allows for a reduced credit load between 6 to 14 credits. If approved for this accommodation, a student would be considered a full-time student to remain eligible for the continuation of their New Mexico institution scholarships and grants. Recommendation for this accommodation is coordinated between the DAS office in partnership with the Financial Aid Office. Students who are approved for a reduced credit load as an accommodation are responsible for meeting with the Financial Aid Office to discuss the impact of a reduced credit load on their financial aid package. Please note, utilizing this accommodation may lead to graduating later, running out of financial aid funds, or having to make up missed credits in the summer. What is expected of DAS students? Complete your coursework timely, attend class, pay for courses, submit assignments, and seek support services as needed. Instructors have the ability to administratively withdraw you from a course in which you are not meeting these requirements. A qualified student with a disability is a student with a disability who, with or without reasonable accommodations, is able to meet the essential academic and technical standards required for admission or continuing participation in NMSU's educational programming or activities. This includes compliance with the essential provisions of the NMSU Code of Conduct and the ability not to represent a direct threat to the health and safety of others. It is also expected that you keep appointments and maintain communication with your Accessibility Services Office. Also, notify your Accessibility Services Office 5 days prior to an exam so that exam accommodations can be arranged. The student's role in receiving DAS services. Notify faculty members of accommodation needs by sending out your faculty notification letters through the AIMS system every semester. Discuss the classroom accommodations with your professors at the beginning of each semester. Request your accommodations each time you need them. Do not assume your professor will automatically provide them. Student responsibilities as a DAS student. After sending accommodation letters, meet individually with each instructor to discuss how your accommodations will be provided in their course. Accommodations cannot be implemented until you have sent an accommodation letter and have met with your instructor. Meet with each instructor during office hours or by appointment, or communicate via phone or email if you are taking an online class. Notify your Accessibility Services Office about any changes in your circumstances or needs for modification of accommodations. Students who wish to request additional accommodations may do so at any point by contacting your Accessibility Office and following the interactive process for requesting accommodations. Student expectations for DAS services. Accommodations are typically not retroactive and will be looked at on a case-by-case basis to determine if retroactive accommodations are reasonable given the situation. It is important to communicate with your Accessibility Office as soon as possible should you experience changes in your accommodation needs or start to experience difficulties in your courses. You can complete an application for additional accommodations through your portal in the AIM system. Additional documentation may or may not be required depending on the accommodation being requested or if the information your Accessibility Office already has on file regarding your disability. It is expected that you care for and return equipment borrowed from your Accessibility Services Office and abide by university policies as stated in the Student Code of Conduct. We will now go over the Accessibility Services Office responsibilities. To facilitate a positive learning experience for you, your Accessibility Services Office will treat all students with dignity and respect, provide information about university policies, procedures, and services, review all requests for accommodations objectively, and notify students of the status of their application submitted through the AIM system, help you access other campus services, facilitate communication between you, faculty members, and staff, and mediate disagreements, help you to file formal grievances if disagreements cannot be remedied to your satisfaction. What you can expect from the DAS office. We will maintain your confidentiality of disability-related information by securing your personal information and sharing information about you only with your permission. It is important to note that confidentiality is maintained unless there is a concern about your safety, the safety of others, or potential harm to the campus or community, in which case information may need to be shared with the appropriate offices to ensure appropriate support and response. Legally, faculty do not have the right to ask you to disclose your diagnosis or the nature of your disability. In some cases, students may have a reason for choosing to share this information, but students are never obligated to do so. You get to determine who knows you are registered with your Accessibility Office, and this information will not appear on your transcript or diploma. DAS Office Responsibilities. We will maintain communication with you by promptly and effectively responding to requests, phone calls, and correspondence. Questions or concerns regarding confidentiality should be addressed with your Accessibility Office as soon as possible. You may provide written consent for your Accessibility Office to communicate with others on your behalf by completing a release of information through your portal in the AIM system. Directions for completing the form can be found here on our DAS website under the release of information. Matters not protected or guaranteed by the NMSU DAS. Accommodations cannot be provided without adequate documentation or information. These accommodations are not provided or required of the college or the corresponding Accessibility Services Office. Accommodations not provided in higher ed include personal service aids, or attendance, such as tutoring or personal care, transportation services, unlimited time on examinations or assignments, unlimited absences, a reassignment to another instructor or restructuring of the curriculum to address individual learning styles. Continuation of matters not protected or guaranteed by the NMSU DAS. Accommodations are meant to provide students with equitable access and learning opportunities and do not guarantee success. All students have an ongoing responsibility to demonstrate they are otherwise qualified to participate in the educational activity or program by meeting relevant essential requirements or technical standards. This means that you have as much of a right to succeed or fail as any other student on a NMSU campus. The key to succeeding is ensuring that you use the resources available to you and ask for help when needed. In college, students are responsible for identifying when they need assistance and then proactively seeking out that assistance. A qualified student with a disability is a student with a disability who, with or without reasonable accommodations, including academic adjustments, auxiliary aids and services, is able to meet the essential academic and technical standards required for admission or continuing participation in NMSU's educational programming or activities. This includes compliance with the essential provisions of the NMSU Code of Conduct and the ability not to represent a direct threat to the health and safety of others. I will now provide you with a little bit of context on housing accommodations. On-campus housing accommodations are provided by the NMSU Housing and Residential Life Office in collaboration with Disability Access Services. We will review when housing accommodations are utilized, the next steps for housing accommodations, and the responsibilities of a student with a housing accommodation. When housing accommodations are utilized. Housing accommodations, such as a single room or bathroom, are considered in situations where a student's disability-related needs significantly impact their ability to access and participate in the residential environment. Due to limited availability, these accommodations are reserved for students whose documented accessibility needs warrant this level of support. Housing accommodations are typically granted by DAS for an academic year, the fall semester through the summer semester. All housing accommodations are provided based on available inventory and prioritized based upon the date the student fully completes the steps for requesting housing accommodations through the housing accommodation application. Another housing accommodation is provisional first-year housing. Incoming freshmen may be assigned a single room based on a documented disability that requires this level of support. The single room accommodation is provided for the first academic year only. If wanting to review the accommodation for future semesters, the student will need to let DAS office know. After the first year, students can transition to apartment-style, on-campus housing, or living off-campus. The next steps after the intake. The DAS office will review requests for single room or private bathroom within our internal accommodation review committee, so we can identify if the accommodation can be approved. Your assigned accessibility specialist will reach out to you within a week to let you know what the decision is. You will receive an email with the final decision. When an accommodation is approved, DAS will reach out to the Housing and Residential Life Department, so they are aware of the student's accommodation. The student's responsibilities for housing. All students must follow the deadlines established by Housing and Residential Life for requesting on-campus housing and complete their application and pay the required fees. Housing accommodations are reviewed annually. Returning students must notify the DAS office if they will continue to reside in campus housing for the upcoming semester by the end of the spring semester. So DAS can review the housing accommodations for the upcoming academic year. DAS responsibilities for housing. DAS does not determine roommates or location of room assignments. The Housing and Residential Life Department review this. If a student faces issues with a roommate, it is important they work with resident assistants to help navigate these issues. DAS will also work with students that require a personal care attendant to determine location and access needs. DAS will notify the Housing and Residential Life Department of specific housing accommodations. We will now go over on how to request additional accommodations. If you continue to face additional barriers and you would like to review your accommodations, please fill out this section, Additional Accommodation, Request Modification, on your portal in the AIM system. There is a screenshot that shows the overview of the AIM portal. At the bottom, the selection Additional Accommodation, Request Modification is highlighted. If you are interested in exploring academic accommodations, these are the steps that need to be completed. This can be done at any time during your college career. Step 1 is to fill out an academic accommodation application on our website, das.nmsu.edu. The second step is to submit documentation related to the academic accommodation request. The form, Academic Accommodation Verification Form, can be filled out by your medical provider. On the left side of the screen is a screenshot of our website. In order to fill out the academic accommodation request, you should click the button Academic Accommodation Application. Thank you for reviewing the resources module. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to your assigned accessibility specialist directly. Their contact information will be in your AIM portal. You can also reach out to the DAS mainline at 575-646-6840 or by email at das@nmsu.edu.